Listen to the radio, Harry and Edna's Wireless Show. You heard it from the Three Bells.
Watto, Harry.
And Watto, Edna, and welcome. It's Harry and Edna on the wireless as we guide you through the UK vintage scene.
Watto?
The world is a little bit different. It's
is.
a little bit unusual to what it has been in the past. And today we're doing the multi-guest special because it's our, well, I won't say lockdown special, although lockdown is special.
It is. It's a really unusual time.
It is definitely unusual. So a number of our... So give you an idea of what's going on in the vintage scene now we're in lockdown, now we're all stuck in our little homes, because a lot of it has gone online.
Yes, and it's due to the virus called COVID-19. I'm just saying that for historic...
You mean, if you happen to go
in
back
20 years' time, they'll say, oh, what were they doing in those weird times?
So if you went to harryandedna.co.uk, and where all the listen agains are, if you went to this show in about 5 years' time, you might have forgotten, because it's just skipped your memory that this ever even happened.
I know. It will be at one point a distant memory, but has been likened to the sort of wartime. There's similarities to some of the things that we are going through that they went through on the home front during World War II.
It is, and we have a lot crammed in. We've got a little bit of a news clip, to sort of radio clip to say what that is, but that coming up later in the show. But we also have Tom Carradine, who does the Cockney Sing-Along. He's been doing weekly Cockney Sing-Alongs, and we're going to have a little snippet of that. Sophie Bainbridge, she's been on a previous show talking. She's from, help me here, quickly.
Stanley
Biggs
Stanley
Clothing.
Biggs Clothing.
There you go, the Adventurers Clothing, vintage clothing, because she's doing a series of poetry online at the moment, relevant, and she said we could play a little snippet of it. And of course, when she joined us on the phone, she was telling us what the company's doing.
Yes.
Our vintage companies are doing.
Yeah.
And Thomas Wilde Esquire is doing a worldwide tour because of this.
Well, he was due to go on a tour, but obviously
It wasn't quite worldwide, but now... So he said, that's it, I'm not going to do the tour of Bedfordshire.
Well, he can't, bless him. Nobody's allowed out. So again, bit of historical reference. Nobody's allowed to go out unless you're working and it's essential travel.
So instead he's going to do a worldwide tour.
So he's doing his tour from his front living room, which I think is fantastic.
He's doing it worldwide, and how he's doing that is does a little bit like 2 o'clock in the morning, that's for the Australian people, and then another one for our American friends, and then another one from Britain for around about 10 o'clock for us Europeans.
And I think it's worth noting that a lot of our chums and people on the vintage scene and just people all over the place have really been really creative in these times, and they're coming up with different ways of still reaching out to people.
Because we even took part in the vintage Easter bonnet parade.
We were due to go to London, but
Hyde
we
Park,
couldn't because travel
and
with
take
band.
part in the vintage Easter bonnets, and we couldn't. But we did. We took part. Miraculously, though, somehow doing it from the Isle of Wight. But we'll tell you more about that later.
What ho?
Now, you were saying about this feeling a little bit wartime-esque, and there's various... This has been said before, it's on the BBC News website and stuff, partially because of the queuing. You have to queue for food at the moment.
Yep.
People are, if you have the ability to growing your own food now, partially because it's something to do and trying to get connected.
There's a huge surge in the number of people growing their own vegetables, and only one of you is allowed to go to a shop, and you have to queue to go in the shop, and in the shop some of the things are short. There's not a lot of certain items.
I remember when you used to do your food talks many years ago, and you worked, well, I don't know if you worked with, but you had Marguerite Patton, and I don't know how to say. She used to do it on the circuit. Well, you're both on the circuit, but she was
we
like,
worked together a couple of times, didn't we, on certain things? Yeah.
And she remember her telling you once that if anyone said they starved in the war, they weren't doing it right, but you never necessarily got what you wanted to eat.
Yes.
And I thought that's something similar, isn't it? You're going into your food shops now.
Yeah.
You're not going to starve. There's food there to eat, but you may not get quite what you went in for.
And it was very similar. There was panic buying when we all thought we weren't going to get the things we wanted in great supply because we're not importing like we used to. And I just thought, gosh, these are so many similarities to war, and that you only allowed so many items. So tin food, soup, for example, you're only allowed 3 tins of soup. So, it's rationing to a certain degree.
Yeah, and then, of course, there was the formal rationing over, like, your meat ration and so forth, but so even if I remember from your talks, because I had to listen to a lot of them, even items that weren't necessarily rationed would be informally rationed by the shopkeeper to try and make sure there was enough to go around for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess that's similar.
It is,
ilk.
and it just sort of struck me that some of the vegetables now, they're sort of still in good supply, but there's just not the choice that there was pre-lockdown. And
I listened to one of our competitors' radio stations, one of the talk radio stations done by our good friends the Beeb, and they were saying about how they're trying to recruit people to go and work in the fields.
I know, because there's not the foreign workers coming over now, is there?
No, because there's no travel. And I thought, again, I remember, hearing about that. And also when we used to do, many years ago, we used to do reenactment, and we used to do a farm museum?
Yes, yeah.
And I used to be in the Home Guard, because I'm of that age. And part of the scenario was we used to go stooking in the field, because the Home Guard, as they did in that period, would go and help get the crops in. So you see, so that even though we're in lockdown, the vintage scene still keeps going on. Yeah,
and in a way you sort of living it to some degree, and you can understand it. Certainly the queuing and the shortages and the limitations in the shops.
Of course, I don't know if you remember this, I've done this all before. 1918.
Yes.
There was is this a BBC plug? There used to be a TV show called Time Watch, and they used to do documentaries. And they did one about the Spanish flu in 1918, where more people died of the Spanish flu than they actually did in the First World War.
That's shocking, isn't it? Think how many millions died in the First World War.
And it started in the American trenches. So this documentary claimed. And I was one of the actors in it.
We had a moustache.
I had to sneeze on somebody.
Did you?
Yes, I had to sneeze on someone. Had you? It was all down to me.
You started it.
I started it.
Oh, dear, Harry. You didn't start this one, though.
No, this one I'm perfectly clear on. Now, just going back to our friends at the Beeb, to give you an idea of the similarities, I'm going to play a little clip, and then we'll go into a musical track of ours, that a bit of chick rep. But this is a clip or at the start of the Second World War in 1939, just give you an idea where they actually, in effect, did their own lockdown. You hear a siren, and then we go into the news bulletin.
Closing of places of entertainment. All cinemas, theatres, and other places of entertainment are to be closed immediately until further notice.
What ho?
Now, obviously, we played that clip about the closure of entertainment, and you were saying about how slightly different this time, because everything's closed.
I was going to say that's the similarity, is that everything is closed down. All the pubs, clubs, restaurant, bars, entertainment, cinema, theatres, everything's been closed down.
TV's going though, isn't it? And they closed that in World War II. TV's,
did they?
Yeah. There was they stopped television
I suppose
broadcasts.
they still did radio broadcasting, didn't
they?
They
did radio. Hardly anybody was watching TV, but they shut down the infant station.
So schools kept going, but we are...
Yeah, and we're not
schools
evacuating anyone.
No, we're not evacuating. Well, they're evacuated to our own homes, aren't they? So schools are closed.
I have to tell you this, I am actually doing the homeschooling. I am what apparently known as the demon headmaster.
Yes. So the radio studio now doubles up as a classroom.
Yes, so we have to be very quick in getting this done, or else the bell will go and they'll all come back from PE.
But we were saying that obviously it's a huge difference this time is we have technology, we have the ability to still watch TV, go online, and we have the internet. So although we can't go shopping, a large number of things you can buy over the internet, which is how some of our vintage chums are surviving this. Yes,
because of course all we have a number of our good friends are entertainers, and nearly all their work has dried up.
Well, all their work.
And they're musicians, and they're in Tom Carradine, who we're going to listen to shortly. He's doing these online broadcasts.
And we were saying Tom with his touring.
And Tom Wilde. And you don't have to be called Tom to be an entertainer.
No?
No, you do not have to be. Because we actually got a track from a lady called Hannah Pierre from the Isle of Wight.
Yay!
And she's not called Tom.
No, but she performs with Tom.
She has been known to perform with Tom. So there is some sort of connection there.
And Sophie is keeping her business going
online, and she'll tell us why. She's going to join us on the phone to tell us why, because of course you can't come.
No.
Not allowed.
No. But we can still purchase her beautiful clothing online.
We can. And she's doing poetry as well.
Poetry.
Right. In fact, we'll hear from Sophie.
Yeah.
Let's get her on the phone. Let's play a track. Who are we going to play?
Duke Ellington, Come to Baby Do.
If it is, I've got a different Duke Ellington in front of me.
I'm sure that's what it says. I haven't got my glasses on.
Let's have a look.
Let's do a surprise.
It does say that. It does. So
yes.
It may be Come Baby Do, or it may be I Got It Bad.
But either way, it's Duke Ellington.
It's Duke Ellington, I'm pretty sure.
What ho?
How are you guys faring at the moment with lockdown and with everything being online?
I mean, we're fortunate because we are an online business, so we've not necessarily lost an avenue as many businesses have. The biggest challenge that we've faced is, of course, the uncertainty. So it's every other day we're getting more bad news, which doesn't necessarily help with the feel-good factor that people are having. And I think now really people are getting used to it. And this is the most wonderful thing about, the human nature is it's so adaptable. And really now, we're seeing so much support from our existing customers as well as new customers. They're all, keeping in touch, sharing all of our content and engaging with us as well. And that's probably been one of the best, most positive things that we've got out of this, where people actually have more time to look at the imagery that we post, and they actually want to compliment or comment on it, or to actually share and engage with us, which is fantastic because it enables us to take that feedback, and when the time does come, we can obviously put that back into motion. But you're right by saying, Edna, that it's not just the shops, it's not just the retail, it's not just the jumper that we're trying to sell. It's we're also holding up an industry that's behind us. We have factories that make the garments. We have designers, we have pattern makers. We have those companies. We have, in case of knitwear as well, we have farms, we have farmers, we have sheep. We have the entire industry that has frankly just ground to a halt.
Yeah.
And and it's so important that just by buying that jumper, it goes all the way back to the source, to the fields and the sheep that the wool is from, and it's now that it's as you said, it's so important to support that the actual message to our customers. But I think people are more attuned to it now. They're more concerned by what is impacted and what industry is impacted, and we're happy to share that.
It just reminds me of the videos that you guys post on your website, which just makes it all feel so homely and so British. Do you want to tell our listeners about your videos, your ascent and your journey?
Yes, absolutely. So this is the beginning of the series of films that we will be doing, and I would say that's probably been our biggest setback, is of course because of the lockdown.
Yes.
We're not actually able to do any future films until an unspecified time.
No,
so
but we can look longingly. We can look longingly, can't we, at what you guys have done so far?
Yes. So fortunately, we have two films. One is, as you rightly said, is The Journey, and then the second is The Ascent. And this is really to instill in our customers the spirit of the adventure that our clothing is designed for, and it will stand the test for hard wearing exercise and activities. And it could be from motor car racing. It could be from, sort of motor tours across. Well, we've driven to Luxembourg and back in November wearing Stanley Biggs Clothing, and it does stand the test of time. And or even if you're just going for a nice, particularly now, which that's what most people are only allowed to do, is go for a nice walk.
Yes.
It's perfect clothing for that. And the videos themselves, they're all made in Britain.
What ho?
Hello. I thought I'd read a poem to you all by one of my favourites called Spike Milligan. It's about an epidemic of different qualities, and I thought it was appropriate, particularly with social distancing and the importance of still staying connected to everyone. So here it is. It's called Smile. Smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I walked around the corner and someone saw me grin. When he smiled, I realised I'd passed it on to him. I thought about the smile and then realised its worth. A single smile like mine could travel round the earth. So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Start an epidemic and get the world infected.
What ho?
Sophie Bainbridge from Stanley Biggs Clothing giving us a poem from Spike Milligan, kind of fitting for this time. Want to find out about Stanley Biggs Clothing? Simply go to stanleybiggs.co.uk. Biggs is spelt with 2 G's. Now, we have mentioned about our good chum Tom Carradine and the fact he's doing a weekly Cockney sing-alongs on his Facebook page. So after, we're just going to play a little bit of Laverne Baker and On Revival Day, and then we'll go straight over to Tom Carradine's Isolation sing-along.
What ho?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Carradine's Cockney self-isolating sing-along. Lovely to see all of you. Faye is keeping an eye on the comments, so hopefully she can tell me who's in and what's... So if you've got your songbooks, they're on my website, carradinescockneysingalong.co.uk. On the front page, just click download and it's there. I've got some requests as well for you, so we'll see how we go. Let's start with this one.
What ho?
You were swaying.
I was swaying and singing along with lovely Tom.
You could not sway, could you?
You could not sway.
You have to sway when you hear those wonderful tunes.
Yes.
And like Tom, I am here with a cup of tea, which you have just provided.
Yes, your nighttime cup of tea.
My nighttime cup of tea, or daytime, depending on when you're listening to this.
Indeed.
Or morning tea.
Brunch tea.
So that's Tom's Cockney Isolation sing-along. I'm not sure what the correct term is. He does it every week on his Facebook page. So if you go to Tom Carradine's Cockney sing-along, and you can find out when that's going to be on and join. And he doesn't quite, I think it's something about 600-700 people watching.
That's the live stream,
the live stream, because you get the comments where you type in the comments. And there was like so many flying past.
Oh, well, it's the thumbs up and the hearts, and they all just flood along. Because
he'll say something like a question, and you try and type it, and I think, you got no hope of finding young Harry's contribution from the Isle of Wight, because there's like... he was talking about his wife, Faye, who was on the messages, and I don't know how she copes.
No.
And Tom is going to play us out, by the way, at the end of the show. So do hang around. There is more... Tom Carradine, don't forget, so if you want to find out more about him, it's Tom Carradine on his Facebook page for that particular experience. We're talking about in isolation, it's Tom's. Everybody has to be called Tom.
Yes.
Well, maybe not. But after I have, who is it, Jean Audrey?
Let me just have a look.
I
know, June Aubrey.
Yeah.
I haven't got my glasses on.
Okay, so
it's
anyway, we're going
to
play a track,
yes.
And then after that track, we'll be joined by Tom Wilde, Esquire. He of the ukulele or banjolele fame, and he's going to be telling us about his world tour. He's doing his isolation world tour, all from a front room in Bedford, but he's doing it broadcasting, well, as you can through the internet all over the world, but he's doing his show times at different times to allow people who are, so they don't have to get up like at 2 a.m. to watch it.
What ho?
But also, I think people are wanting entertainment at the moment, and from our point of view, we're watching a lot of things online. A lot of artists are going online and offering and doing free shows on social media. So I've got one planned. I was meant to be going on tour around the UK. Actually, that got cancelled or postponed. So what I'm doing instead is I'm doing a worldwide virtual tour. So next Saturday at 8 p.m. UK time, I'll be streaming a gig from our front room for people in the UK and Europe. The following weekend, I'm going to time it so that it's an appropriate time for people on East Coast America. Yeah. And the following weekend after that, I'm doing it for West Coast America, which is probably going to be about 2 a.m. here. And then the following weekend, it'll be for Australia, New Zealand. So that'll be a morning gig. That'll go out to them for about 8 o'clock in the evening. So I think performers are getting quite creative online at the moment with what they're choosing to do.
So how can people get to stream this? How do they get online?
It will be through my Facebook page. So if you go to Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire Facebook page, then you'll see all the details on there, and that'll be up on and live on there on Saturday night. Obviously, I'm going to be putting kind of lots of promotional materials out about that over the next week. So keep an eye out for that. So that's how I'm planning to get through all of this.
Brilliant. So Esquire is ESQ, isn't it? It's not the full word.
ESQ,
yeah. So as well as your live streaming, there's lots of other bits and bobs you've got online. Should you wish to join in with your live streaming, you could dress up in a Thomas Benjamin Wilde Esquire T-shirt.
Well, you could do that. The dress code I've set for the live stream, I've actually set a dress code for people, which is stay-at-home chic. So I'm wanting people to kind of wear their best staying-at-home clothes.
So no tracksuits?
What's that, sorry?
Was that no tracksuits?
No tracksuits. It needs to be smoking jackets and cravats.
Yeah.
Smoking caps.
Yeah.
Loafers, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I thought I'd explain what our expectation of loungewear staying-at-home clothing is. Tracksuits not allowed.
No, yeah. Well, if it's a particularly nice tracksuit, then
I suppose.
knock yourself out. I'm going to be asking people to share their pictures of themselves in their stay-at-home chic as well.
Okay, so
which would be quite interesting.
Would that not put you off your performance? Have you got all these people?
Well, the thing is, my partner Sarah is going to be on duty, kind of looking at comments and kind of passing them on to me, so I can actually be talking to people while I'm doing it as well.
Oh, fantastic!
So we're still working out the finer details of how it's all going to work, but it should be good fun. The other thing that I've done today, in fact, I put a video up of a new song that I wrote especially for self-isolation called Let's Make Some Entertainment of Our Own. I wrote it about a week ago, and I'm asking people, the lyrics and the chords are on there, and so I'm asking people to have a go at doing their own versions of it as well. So post videos of themselves playing it. They can change some of the lyrics to it if they want to make it more appropriate to their own situation. But if you're interested in that, pop onto my social media and you'll be able to find the details of that and the video of the song as well.
What ho?
Thomas B. Wilde playing with the Isle of Wight's Hannah Pierre, saying we'll meet again, which kind of fitting. Because we will meet again.
We will meet again with all our friends and family and loved ones.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap it up because it's time for us to leave our lockdown special because we are still in lockdown. We're going to play out a little bit of Bing Crosby, and then Tom Carradine will be playing us out properly, out, not just out, but out.
Not going out, just going out of the study and into the other room.
That's right. So toodle pip from me,
and a tinkety tonk from me.